This is Land of Havilah, Proverbs 26. Got a 2-year-old with me today. He said he'd be really quiet, so we'll see how it goes. Verse 1. Like snow in summer and as rain in harvest, so honor is not fitting for a fool. Say hello, Anton.
Hello.
Okay, good boy. Comment, snow in summer is out of place. Rain's destructive at harvest because a crop will rot, a wet crop will rot. So it's not fitting and it's out of place and it's destructive to give honor to a fool. As a corollary, don't laugh at a misbehaving child, right, Anton?
Yep.
The laughing honors the child and encourages the behavior. Verse 2. Like a fluttering sparrow, like a darting swallow, so the undeserved curse doesn't come to rest. Comment, an undeserved curse doesn't hit home. It's easily brushed off. Verse 3. A whip is for the horse, a bridle for the donkey, and a rod for the back of fools. Comment, a fool learns the hard way by punishment or by suffering the natural consequences of his foolishness. Verse 4. Don't answer a fool according to his folly, lest you also be like him. Answer a fool according to his folly, lest he be wise in his own eyes. Comment, don't be caught up in a fool's assumptions. For example, this applies when politicians are answering questions from reporters. Many times there's an error embedded in the reporter's question. Rather than answering the question directly, the politician should identify the error in the question and correct it. He should point out the folly of the question. Verse 5. One who sends a message by the hand of a fool is cutting off feet and drinking violence. Comment, to cut off feet means to create a disaster. If you send a fool to represent you, he'll make a disaster of it. Verse 7. Like the legs of the lame that hang loose, so is a parable in the mouth of fools. Are you okay so far, Anton?
Yeah.
Okay, good boy. Comment, a paralyzed person's legs hang useless. So does a parable or proverb in the mouth of a fool, meaning a fool doesn't know how to make use of a proverb. When a fool quotes a proverb, it doesn't match the situation. Maybe he quotes a proverb about making war when it's time to make peace, or about peace when it's time to make war. This is a guiding principle for interpreting the Proverbs, that a proverb is situational. You have to match the proverb to the situation. So how do we know whether a proverb is for now or not for now? We have to apply wisdom. Proverbs are not in themselves wisdom. Wisdom chooses the correct proverb for the moment. Verse 8. As one who binds a stone in a sling, so is he who gives honor to a fool. Comment, some organizations exist for the purpose of bestowing honor. The Nobel Committee, for example. Hopefully they don't honor evil or counterproductive activity, because that would encourage more of the same. It would be like binding a stone in a sling. Somebody's going to get hurt. Verse 9. Like a thorn bush that goes into the hand of a drunkard, so is a parable in the mouth of fools. Comment, a parable or proverb can actually be harmful when applied foolishly. Verse 10. As an archer who wounds all, so is he who hires a fool, or he who hires those who pass by. Comment, an archer who wounds all shoots arrows indiscriminately. He fires them in the air not knowing where they come down, or something that he's not safe with a bow in his hand. The one who hires a fool or unvetted stranger is like that archer. You don't know what type of damage a fool or unvetted person might do if you hire him. Verse 11. As a dog that returns to his vomit, so is a fool who repeats his folly. Comment, a fool isn't revulsed enough by his past mistakes. Peter cited this proverb in relation to a sinner returning to his sin. 2 Peter 2:22. Verse 12. Do you see a man wise in his own eyes? There's more hope for a fool than for him. Comment, there's more hope for a fool than for someone who considers himself wise. Don't consider yourself wise. Verse 13. The sluggard says, there's a lion in the road. A fierce lion roams the streets. Comment, this is very close to Proverbs 22:13, that a lazy man will stoop to nonsense if it gets him out of work. Verse 14. As the door turns on its hinges, so does the sluggard on his bed. Comment, a lazy person wakes up in the morning but doesn't get out of bed. He turns from side to side Like a door on hinges, he's postponing his day. Verse 15. The sluggard buries his hand in the dish. He's too lazy to bring it back to his mouth. Comment, this is a virtual repeat of Proverbs 19:24. Some people are so lazy it's too much work to feed themselves. Their hands get stuck in the dish. Verse 16. The sluggard is wiser in his own eyes than 7 men who answer with discretion. Comment, the lazy person thinks he's wise. He sees some kind of superior wisdom in being lazy. Verse 17. Like one who grabs a dog's ears is one who passes by and meddles in a quarrel not his own. Comment, if you grab a dog by the ears, you'll make him angry. If you meddle in a quarrel not your own, you make at least one of the parties angry. Verse 18. Like a madman who shoots torches, arrows, and death is the man who deceives his neighbor and says, "Am I not joking?" Comment, to deceive one's neighbor here and then to say, "Am I not joking?" that's a description of a jest or of a practical joke. Even if the jest or practical joke was relatively innocent, there's a risky element to it. It's like shooting flaming arrows. Things can escalate quickly and go far beyond what was intended. When your narrator went to college and lived in the freshman dormitory, he was careful not to participate in any practical jokes. You don't know how badly and out of proportion a practical joke might come back on you. Verse 20. For lack of wood, a fire goes out. Without gossip, a quarrel dies down. Comment, gossip there is also translated whispering and tale-bearing. It's bad-mouthing someone behind their back. It causes division and strife. Stop talking about people behind their back and there'll be peace. Verse 21. As coals are to hot embers and wood to fire, so is a contentious man to kindling strife. Comment, an argumentative person sets his relationships on fire. He disturbs the peace. He's like a dry piece of kindling that's waiting to burst in flames. Verse 22. The words of a whisperer are as dainty morsels. They go down into the innermost parts. Comment, whisperer is again there also translated tale-bearer or gossip. The intended meaning of the proverb is either that a whisper is a powerful way of communicating, such as a whispered "I love you," it goes down into the innermost parts, or it's a reference to gossip, that people love to hear a dainty morsel of gossip, they soak it up. The words of a whisperer are as dainty morsels, they go down into the innermost parts. Verse 23. Like silver dross on an earthen vessel are the lips of a fervent one with an evil heart. Comment, silver dross in this case is the dark tarnish that forms on silver. An evil person has tarnished lips. His speech is tarnished. He's not silver underneath, he's earthen underneath with an ugly tarnish. Verse 24. A malicious man disguises himself with his lips, but he harbors evil in his heart. Comment, malicious man's also translated hater. A hater doesn't come out and say he hates because he knows it's not right to hate. So his hate isn't on his lips, but still it's in his heart. He cleans his lips, but not his heart. Continuing with the same proverb, verse 25. When his speech is charming, don't believe him. There are 7 abominations in his heart. His malice may be concealed by deception, but his wickedness will be exposed in the assembly. Comment, verses 25 and 26, the hater tries to disguise his hatred with charming speech, but his hatred will be exposed, or just as likely he fails to conceal it from the outset. Quote, his wickedness will be exposed in the assembly, end quote. His hate is obvious, or it becomes obvious. Verse 27. Whoever digs a pit shall fall into it. Whoever rolls a stone, it will come back on him. Comment, we would say what goes around comes around, or getting a taste of your own medicine, or the chickens come home to roost. Whoever digs a pit shall fall into it. Verse 28. A lying tongue hates those it hurts, and a flattering mouth works ruin. Comment, lies are rooted in hatred. If we love someone, we won't lie to them. Flattery is manipulation. The flatterer is trying to get something from the person that the person wouldn't give up if he were in his right mind. The result will be the victim's ruin. The flattering mouth works ruin on the victim. Proverbs 27 is next.